Hey, I'm back with another video today. I'm reacting to Candace Owens. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, her fine ass can get it. But I'm hop right into the video. No time to waste. Let's go.
You connect a lot of dots between, like, Israel and media, right? But do you think that it's just capitalism? Like, don't you think a lot of times it's just business, and that's how business works, is that they're, like, it's one of the side effects of capitalism.
If that were the case, so the reason why this is different is because Israel is actually the exception. They are the only country that's allowed to lobby Americans. Like, everyone else has to register as a foreign agent under FARA.
Like with AIPAC or whatever?
Yeah, so AIPAC, the backstory, by the way, before JFK got shot, he was fighting AIPAC. They were previously called, I'm blanking on this, you can look it up. And he was literally saying, you have to register under the Foreign Act.
Is that true? Let's look it up.
1,000% true, and you should look it up. We should fact check that live. He was fighting with what is today known as AIPAC. Was renamed AZCPA. I don't know what that stood for.
In 1959, AZCPA was renamed AIPAC, and American Israel Public Affairs Committee, reflecting a broader membership and mission.
Yeah. So JFK told them that they had to register under FARA, and so American Zionist Council. That's exactly what it was called.
Okay, American Zionist Council was a pro-Israel lobby in the United States, founded in 1949.
Candace be knowing her shit. I ain't gonna hold you. She be knowing her shit.
9 nationwide Zionist organizations in matters related.
See at the bottom there, in 1962, look at the last paragraph. In 1962, yeah.
President John F. Kennedy and his brother Bobby, as the U.S. Attorney General, forced the AZC to register as a foreign agent. In doing so, they were barred from making monetary contributions to U.S. officials. Who was barred? AZC?
Yeah, so AIPAC, for lack of a better term. They were called AZC back then. But continued to send out newsletters and hold events with a nonprofit tax exemption. And then what happened was he was shot. So he literally, they were writing letters. You can find this. This is all, this is available information. And he was like, you need to register, you need to register, you need to register. And then we told you to register. Why are you not registering? This makes no sense. And then AIPAC got lucky because he got shot and killed.
What also you could,
So they are the reason why I'm bringing this up is not to further conspiracy theories. They're the only country that's allowed to lobby Americans are not registered under the FARA Act. And so when you see these people,
what act?
FARA, so that's like if you're a foreign agent, you have to basically register, your communications are monitored, all of this stuff. But for whatever reason, Israel is an exception to this, and the reason is because JFK got shot, because otherwise they would have been under this. So that is the reason that they're allowed to do this. And so, when this, and then of course we're not allowed to read the files, but leading up to his death, he was having arguments with the Prime Minister, Ben Gurion. That's a fact, another fact. He was having heated arguments with Ben Gurion, and then the problem, look it up. JFK,
the Foreign Agents Registration Act is a U.S. law that requires people and entities working on behalf of foreign governments to register with the Department of Justice.
So it drives me insane to see these absolute frauds. Like when they go, oh, Russia spent $1 million, or whatever they said. I remember they came after Lauren Chen, and they're like, there is an idea that Russia spent money, and they'll say something like $26,000, or they spent $3 million, and influenced the election. And all of these people will be taking money from AIPAC. If they're like, oh, well, AIPAC got lucky. Well, JFK got shot.
But wasn't the Russia story that was figured out to be a facade,
right? But when you hear these people in your government saying this, you should know how fraudulent they are, because they all are taking money from Israel. And so it's like, yes, is Israel doing it legally because a president got shot? Sure, but it's wrong. A country should not be able to lobby to get what they want and control our congressmen. And you get to see them flex that muscle, like TikTok and things of nature, when they are now interfering with our speech, and they'll get laws passed really quickly. It allows literally a foreign country to make decisions in our nation. Lobbying should just not be allowed, full stop. So instead they go, oh, well, you're focusing on it because they're Jewish. No, you're just the only country that's allowed to do it. I would feel the same way if China, if there was a Chinese lobby that was spending. No, there's no other country but Israel. Only AIPAC. There's no other country that everyone else has to register under the FARA Act, and that changes things significantly. AIPAC is the only, American Israel PAC, whatever it is, that's allowed to spend $100 million in our elections and not be called names. Like if could you imagine if Russia spent $100 million in our elections? If there was like a Russia PAC or a Chinese PAC, and they were just allowed to spend that kind of money to lobby and pay our politicians to say things and to believe in things, and that should make people angry. Like that should make people angry, irrespective. Like I said, it could be any country.
Unless, right? I agree with you that it's amazing.
Or let them all do it.
Right. If like America is owned by Israel or some other part ownership or whatever, just tell us that.
Right.
Well, they don't want to.
Like that's a weird thing I don't understand. Like
then you wouldn't sign up for wars. You wouldn't. You would start to question things in a different way, and so it becomes important for the government to keep Americans ignorant of how Congress works, what's going on, so that they believe their congressman when they go on a rant and say, Israel's our friend and ally, and they don't know how to just very easily look up and see whether this guy's taking money, or when someone says, this vaccine's going to save your life, and they don't know, what's happened with the CDC, or people don't even have basic civics understanding, but that's by design.
Like, because I don't like what Israel, like, their space in Gaza, right? Like that to me is just like seems super tyrannical. But didn't they just come up with a thing today about the ICC? They can't prosecute Netanyahu?
When I started Walton Goggins goggle glasses, I had no idea what I was doing. But GoDaddy Arrow does, using AI.
Trying to look up what they're talking about right
He
now.
runs shit.
Is that today?
He's like the ultimate great gangster. He's like, even when they catch him doing the crimes, and we created this court for exactly what it did, they said, you can't do this. Then they say, well, just cancel the courts. Can you imagine being like that much of a worldwide gangster? It's crazy.
Right, and I wish they would just say, look, we're still letting everybody be gangsters, because that's what I don't like about the media a lot of times. There's this thing, it's like, we all need to look out for each other, and we need, like, climate change, and we need to make sure that everybody has a safe place to urinate and all those things, which, yeah, I think all those things are important or worth discussion. But at the same time, you'll have countries that are still playing this Fidel Castro type of role. So it's like, why do we keep saying all these little things are important, but you can just say, hey, we're still in colonial, or we're still in the old school days, and shit is what it is.
Yeah.
So fucking mark off your fence yard and protect your fucking shit. Because that's what countries are doing. Like, that's how they're operating, but they're trying to create ambiance that makes us feel like we can't operate like that, or you're a bad person if you do operate like that.
Right? They're actually morally pretentious. They're pretending it's like, oh, we've just gotten, we're so dignified, we would never do this. Look, if it's the rules of the jungle, it's the rules of the jungle. Let us know.
Right, that's my biggest thing.
It's this illusion of we're better, we would never, because of World War II. You're doing all of it, right? You're violating every single one of these codes that you put into place. And if you're going to do it because I'm big and you're small, then say that. So, like, the small guys know what's up. It's the rules of the jungle.
That's my thing.
But if they do that, they gonna know
what the rules are. If America is owned
we gonna revolt.
Israel and Taiwan, just tell me that. Let me know, like, because at a certain point, if you keep,
What you're talking about, by the way, there's a term for it. It's called real politicking.
Real politicking.
Yeah, so I did
That's all I want. I
foreign
just want to
policy
know.
paper. It's like, I'd rather know that we're working with cartels in South America, because we are, right?
Yeah.
And like, that's cool, CIA, like whatever. But just like, please stop the pretentious. Your face. Oof.
Yeah,
that's the American government. It's the scoffing. We would never. Yes, you would. Yes, you have. And yes, you are. And people that know real politicking.
Let me look at real politicking. Is the approach of conducting diplomatic or political policies based primarily on considerations of given circumstances and factors rather than strictly following ideological, moral, or ethical premises.
Right. And so if they're like, yeah, here's the thing, cartels are getting big in the South. And so, yeah, morally we shouldn't work with the cartels, but also if we let the cartels keep growing and El Chapo keep growing, then you know what? Then Mexico could become stronger than us, so we're going to do deals with the cartel. Like, that's realpolitik, right?
Or say, Israel is we are partners to the end, and this is how it is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of conflicted about Trump, like, with his stance on Gaza, right? To me, that's like...
I totally disagree with him on it, and it's like... It's hard to reconcile it in many ways. It's hard to reconcile because I see so much hypocrisy in terms of when we say America first, for whatever reason we have this magic carve-out, and you cannot pretend that that's not because AIPAC spends $100 million in our election. And this gets back to what we were talking about, whether it's Big Pharma, whether it's Israel, everyone's for sale in D.C. And so I have been very disappointed with Trump on his perspectives about Gaza. I have been disappointed, by the way, he's the last person I'm disappointed with, because I've been disappointed, as we saw all last year, with the conservatives, people that say they're Christians, who are condoning this on the basis of what? Like, you're saying, oh, well, they're Muslims, so who cares? And that gets into our programming, which I've spoken about in my podcast, of this 9/11 programming, where we just don't see Muslims as, like, human life. And to me, to speak about Gaza and talking about casinos and hotels, and these people just lost their entire families. It's so far removed from humanity, and I think it's wrong. And I'm tired of America being used as Israel's piggyback. For whatever reason, everyone can critique every other country for taking money from us, and then there's just everyone's blind when it comes to Israel. And obviously, I paid a very heavy price for saying that last year, but I don't care, because I am truly someone whose values have never been up for sale. Like, I don't care. I will burn everything to the ground and rebuild it. I have to be able to, like, sleep at night, and to see those Palestinian children, and the images are seared into my brain. The screaming, the crying, the bleeding, the stuff that we saw on X for the first time, largely thanks to Elon freeing the bird, and really realizing how much we had been lied to about what was happening in that region. It was very easy for me to say, take whatever you have to take from me. I have to be on, like, the human side of things.
I think it's become...
That's interesting. Candace stands on her principles. That's really good.
Both sides of the aisle now just see that, human people just feel like that it's just wrong.
Of course.
What's happened is wrong. Like, probably a year ago, people were afraid to even say that, and now it is what everybody is saying. Like, even Piers Morgan is saying it on his show now. Like, people are saying it's obvious that you can't go and annihilate and genocide this culture and make them disappear. And then Trump to come on top of it and say they're going to build... You're going to go on a lazy river where there's bodies of, like, who could even go to that?
And what's so crazy is the mainstream media thinking that we're so stupid that they're going to condition us to believe that to not support the ethnic cleansing, they're then going to mine our, like, preconditioned beliefs about the Holocaust and be like, oh, well, a Jewish person died, so if you don't agree with what we're doing over here, then you're a person that wants more Jewish people to die. It's like, this is an evil way to try to socially engineer what you want, because actually it's precisely because of what I learned growing up about Holocaust and ethnic cleansings, and I do not support what the state of Israel is doing. And you're trying to convince me that it means that if anybody's been wronged in the past, they can't wrong people in the future. You're also wrongly conflating, like, a Jewish American. Why? You have nothing to do with what's going on in Israel. This is a foreign country. No more than if right now we were standing up to a genocide that was happening in Ghana.
Yeah.
And then when I'm going to be like, oh, well, if you don't support what the president of Ghana wants to do, then you want American slavery back. I'm like, it's like, what are you talking about? Just because I'm black and maybe my family is from Ghana, why on earth would I not be able to critique a foreign country for something that they're doing that is so objectively wrong?
Yeah.
And so it's disappointed me as someone who just...
My friend is from Ghana. I just wanted to, like, anyone is from Ghana. I didn't know Candace Owens from Ghana. That's interesting.
Had so much respect and belief in the conservative movement, and believing that it was a principled movement, and Christians as well. I've been very disappointed in Christians who are trying to use this, like, biblical argument for just, well, no matter what, like,
Are people doing that?
Yeah, it's pretty sick, man. It is very sick. They're basically saying that the Bible's, the Bible will bless those who bless Israel. And I'm like, okay, so we have a country who, first and foremost, doesn't have to give us back our pedophiles. Literally, they have this weird rule that you can go if you're Jewish and hide as a pedophile. And actually, an amazing Jewish organization did the work there. You could pull it up. I think it was on CBS. I forgot the name of the Jewish organization. But they went to Israel and was like, why are we harboring pedophiles?
So there was a Jewish organization that they had pedophiles.
They did amazing. No, they were not the pedophiles. They did the investigation to show how people are like, people who have molested children in America, if they're Jewish, they can then make their trip to Israel and be protected by the government. And Israel doesn't have to they literally don't have to,
Exposing.
CBS News, that second one.
Jewish
Right.
American
You will not
pedophiles
find a single person who says that that's wrong.
hide from justice in Israel. But can't they hide? Can't most people say if you are? So these are people that are Israeli citizens?
No, they can then become Israeli, so they're American, right? So they just hop, if they're being on a trial, you get to Israel, they'll protect you. And so they went to where all these pedophiles are, and spoke a lot about, you know, or I can't remember the name of the organization, but they did amazing work there. Jewish Community Watch, that's what it is. And so that's what I mean, where it's like there's also this wrong conflation that annoys me as well, because you have Jewish organizations who will objectively say this is wrong. They recognize they are Americans, they don't support pedophiles, and yet the mainstream media is trying to conflate them and make them think that they have to defend the actions of this state. And yeah, if you even talk about this, so say it's anti-Semitic, talk about this. What are you talking about? You're taking billions. That's the difference here. This is a country that is taking billions and billions and billions. It's an American welfare state, you know? And CBS jumped on it. A CBS News investigation has found that many accused American pedophiles flee to Israel, and bringing them justice can be difficult.
Okay, has been trying for years to find Caro and help bring to justice. So Jimmy Caro, he's a wanted man and is considered dangerous, accused of assaulting a 9-year-old girl in Oregon in 2000. He fled to Israel before authorities in the U.S. could apprehend him. But is this just one guy?
No. So this is a story about how they are doing this. It's the main story is like that they were investigating is that there's so many people that did this.
Why do they allow it?
Because they have special consideration and they are not allowed, they don't have to give us back our pedophiles. I don't know. I never understand these random Israeli loopholes. And it's ridiculous. And the fact that they can just...
This is a lot. This is crazy. But, oh, shoot, my camera about to die. Dang, y'all. All right, y'all, I gotta get out of here. But I'm gonna drop this video anyway, and then I'm gonna do like the other half of it later. So this is gonna be part 1. All right, peace.